Oops. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the broadcast. Excuse the... What happened then? Or maybe that moved by itself. What was I saying? Yeah, excuse the hair clips. I couldn't find any more subtle ones, so yeah, quite big, but it's a different style. Like pegs. Got pegs in my hair. So hello and welcome to the stream. So I do these streams often on Thursday at 8:30 and on Sunday morning at 10. Once a month, however, the second Sunday of the month, I do a silent sitting. So that will be this Sunday. So I won't be here online this Sunday due to having that on. And that's carried out through Skype. I think an hour of silence. I do talk at the beginning, or near the beginning. But that's pretty much it. And then it's an hour of silence. And it's really, really beautiful, actually. To the mind, it's not. It's like, what's the point in doing that or paying for that? But yeah, it's really beautiful. I enjoy it. But yeah, normally I'm here at 10 on Sundays, but not this Sunday. So on this channel, I do my stream and you ask questions through Skype. My Skype is Rebekah Maroon. It's all written below in the text box below this screen, so you can remind yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. So I just sit for a little bit until I feel to start speaking, until the impulse comes to speak. So yeah, the joy starts to come, and the words are not yet formed, but the joy is coming. Speechless joy. Words. Well, all I can say is, what is spoken about is so beautiful. This pointing, this pointing, this pointing, this pointing back to life, simply life, simply this. Simply this life. But that isn't a pointing back to a story of life, a description of life. I can imagine that the mind saying things like, well, this is, what is this? This is nothing. This is, nothing's happening. This is boring. This is not enough. This is, what about this? So what? It's just me and my life. But that's the mental aspect. That's a description. That's mental talking. That isn't truth. It feels as if that thinking is true. It's someone. That someone is me. It lives in the body. It's someone. That description of me and my life and my job and my circumstance and my troubles, my problems, that isn't reality. That's a description, a story of someone, something happening. When that story is not appearing, then what is? When that story of someone sitting here, of someone listening, of someone speaking, of someone feeling, of someone thinking, when that story isn't appearing and playing, without that story, what is this? Without that story of I'm listening, who's listening? Who's looking? This is an absolute mystery. And yet life appears, doing happens, thinking happens. I don't know of any other message or message or teaching that talks about this, that talks beyond the world, talks beyond the story of someone, talks beyond this view of reality as individual people, individual entities. Normally things are about this assumed person living, about this dream person. This is absolute freedom from a dream of someone, from a dream of independent realities, living, experiencing life. It's absolute freedom from the suffering of being bound by that limited story of someone moving through time. And yet, in that appearance of life, there appears a character, there appears to be a description of somebody. There appears to be an appearance of automation, is that a word? Of this being independent. So beautiful. But what happens is there begins to be identification energetically with that seeming character, that seeming story of somebody. And with the identifying with that character, with that human, creates suffering. That perceived limitation, that perceived concreteness, permanence, create suffering and creates seeking. The seeking to escape or get out of this life, what is happening. And the seeking is to find resolution, to find resolution to that discomfort. To find resolution, to escape what is happening, to find resolution in future, in the mind's ability to imagine and project. So there's so much investment and energy going to the mind as the problem solver it is to try and solve this problem. So much investment and energy going into that to find this resolution in time to this current discomfort. And it feels like there's a getting lost in that activity after years and years of living through the mind, living through the idea of who we are, living through this story, this mental story. It becomes so normal to live like that, to resist what's currently happening, the discomfort, to resist it and to be projected and living in the mind, to try and find that resolution. And it kind of makes sense as well, in a way. When there's a problem, the mind's used as a tool to try and work out what's wrong and to try and find a solution to fix it. It's quite a natural thing that happens. But we've become the problem. This idea of who we are is the problem. And so we're kind of using the mind to fix the mind's own problem. So it's endless. Endless. The mind can't fix the mind. It's a made-up problem, an illusory problem that's trying to be sorted out. So much momentum has been built up on finding this solution in the mind. That's why the mind's so active. It's been overused, identified with. One of my teachers used to say people are living in the head, just living in the head. Because it feels too uncomfortable to sink deeper into the body. It feels too uncomfortable to allow all of the feelings, all of the sensations that are happening in the body. I'm not even aware of them. This is even for myself here, the lack of awareness of what's happening in the body. So what seems to happening in this awakening, in this wholeness, is somehow more of an ability to be here, more of an ability to not be living in the mental. And what's left is everything is left. What is here is left. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's like coming home. Coming home. We imagine this is about going somewhere else, off in the mind, all these different ideas, but it's coming home. Meaning an emptying out of that seeker, an emptying out of that avoider, the one trying to escape this, the one trying to turn to concepts and ideas to try and escape. And you could say, yes, the ideas and thoughts are what's happening. They're appearing now as well. But it's the identification with that, the identification with the mental ideas and thoughts. Thoughts are just thoughts, just ideas appearing. But when they like taken on and become real and true, and there's that investment and that seeking through them, that's what's being spoken about. Excuse me. Everyone's got the flu around me. My friend's got the flu. Her kids have the flu. So this message isn't what you think it's about. Excuse me. Whatever the mind thinks this is about, it isn't. Meaning thoughts aren't true. I'm just chewing this sweet, sorry. It's a locket. Thoughts aren't true. Which is a wonderful thing to discover. Okay, maybe there's some questions. Annie. Oh, no, that was last time. That was last time. I remember listening to speakers and imagining that, just say imagining that they'd reached this still, like, full stop place. So they'd arrived and stop, sort of thing. And obviously there is a stop, there is this rest, there is this end of. But I imagined it, like, I guess as a human, there was a stopping and an arriving. So because you don't live with a speaker, I kind of imagined they didn't have, like, I just imagined there being a full stop, that it would end. I don't know what I imagined, really. I just had this weird imagination, I guess, or this weird feeling or weird idea. But that isn't the way it is here at all. And there's so much enjoyment in that. Life doesn't stop. Life is, it doesn't stop. And what is speaking is life. Life is now speaking and listening and feeling. So how can life stop? But we imagine that life is contained and limited in a body, and that is someone's inside there, speaking and living, looking through the eyes. But this is life living, and life doesn't stop. That's an idea. We can't stop while there's a human living and functioning. It's life. What is looked for, this stopped rest, is in discovering what this is. Discovering what this is. Discovering where freedom is. Discovering that what you look for in the movement, what you look for in the world, what you look for in others, what you look for in objects, is here. It's what you are, not the character, but it's what this is. That's the full stop. That's the discovery. But then there's life. I feel that's the endless integration, life, the endless learning and growing. So there are no questions coming through on Skype, so I'm just sitting here. Okay, thank you so much. So I'm doing this sitting on Sunday, so you can join that. Go to rebekahmaroon.com and go on, look under upcoming events, and you'll see how to join the silent sitting on Sunday. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.